In Rome, your apartment building could legally collapse on top of you, and your landlord owed you nothing. Not because the law didn't care. Rome had extraordinarily sophisticated laws covering almost every aspect of daily life. But because the men who wrote those laws also owned the buildings. The Insulae, Rome's towering apartment blocks, were supposed to be capped at 70 feet by imperial decree. Landlords ignored the decree, bribed the inspectors, and kept building. When the buildings fell, and they fell constantly, the rubble went into the street and the landlord started construction on the next one. 1.2 million people lived inside this arrangement and called it the greatest city on earth. They were right about the city. They were just ignoring the part that was actively trying to kill them. The year is 113 AD. Rome has just reached 1.2 million people. The largest city on Earth by a margin no other civilization will match for centuries. Emperor Trajan rules an empire stretching from Scotland to the Sahara. The Colosseum has been standing for 3 decades. The Forum of Trajan, the most ambitious construction project in Roman history, is being completed this very year. But what was it actually like to spend a single day here? Not as an emperor or a senator. As an ordinary person navigating the world's first mega city. Not the marble and the monuments, not the triumphal arches and the postcard skyline. The real city, the noise, the smell, the danger after dark. The staggering gap between what Rome could build and what Rome could not fix. From dawn to midnight, this is what life actually looked like. The sun hasn't risen yet, but Rome is already moving. You're in an insula in the Subura district, a multi-story apartment building in Rome's most densely populated neighborhood. Your room is on the upper floors, one room, no running water, no kitchen, a wooden bed frame, a straw mattress, a clay lamp if you can afford the oil. The building groans around you. These structures were notorious for exactly that, creaking, shifting, poorly maintained and overbuilt. The same landlord who ignores the height restrictions also ignores the cracks in the load-bearing walls. You've learned not to think about it. You head down the stairs. The stairwell smells of urine. There is no toilet up here. Chamber pots get emptied out of windows into the street. If you are unlucky in your timing, you find out the hard way. Outside, the city is already loud. Merchants setting up stalls, delivery carts rattling over cobblestones. Those carts are only permitted inside Rome at night, a traffic regulation that goes back to Julius Caesar, which means the rumble of iron wheels on stone runs from sunset to dawn without pause. The poet Juvenal wrote that it was impossible to sleep in Rome even if you wanted to. He was not being poetic. He was filing a complaint. The Baths of Trajan. This is not a luxury. This is where Romans start their day. The Baths of Trajan cover roughly 11 hectares and cost almost nothing to enter. A quadrans, the smallest coin in circulation. Everyone comes, slaves, shopkeepers, senators. The social hierarchy that governs every other corner of Roman life dissolves briefly into steam and cold water. You leave your clothes with an attendant and move through the sequence. The gymnasium first. Romans exercise naked, wrestling and playing ball games. Then the tepidarium, warm. Then the caldarium, hot enough that breathing takes effort, heated by furnaces burning beneath the floors through a system of raised tiles and hollow walls called a hypocaust. Then the frigidarium, a cold plunge that hits you like a physical blow. While you're here, Peter, you get a shave from a vendor working the floor. You hear gossip. Which senator got caught? Which grain shipment from Egypt is delayed? The baths are not just about bathing. They are about being Roman, about belonging to a city that can offer this to anyone with a fraction of a coin to spare. By mid-morning, you're at the heart of everything. The Forum is simultaneously the political, religious, and commercial center of a civilization governing tens of millions of people across 3 continents. Standing in it feels like standing inside a city that knows exactly what it is. The noise is overwhelming, Lawyers are shouting their cases. Politicians are speaking from the rostra, the platform decorated with the prows of captured enemy warships. Mark Antony delivered Caesar's funeral oration from that exact spot over a century and a half ago. That speech helped ignite a civil war. You're here to witness a contract signing. Romans had no notaries. Contracts required witnesses, typically 7 free citizens, to be legally binding. You stand outside the Basilica Julia, a vast hall where multiple court cases ran simultaneously, while 2 merchants finalize a grain deal. Roman trials were public. The crowd cheered or jeered depending on which side they favored. Justice in Rome was never a quiet business. By noon, you're hungry. You head to Trajan's Market, built into the slopes of the Quirinal Hill, a complex of over 150 shops spread across multiple levels, selling everything the empire produces or controls. Fish from Ostia, 15 miles downriver. Spices from the eastern provinces, wine, olive oil, grain. You eat at a thermopolium, a counter built into the street with clay vessels set into a marble surface keeping food hot, stew, bread, maybe sausage. Romans ate a great deal of bread. The city consumed vast quantities of grain every year, most of it shipped from North Africa and Egypt across the Mediterranean and up the Tiber. If those shipments failed, Rome starved, which is exactly why the emperors distributed free grain to a significant portion of the citizen population. This was not charity. It was crowd management, and everyone understood it as such. The games started at dawn with animal hunts. You arrive in the afternoon for the gladiatorial bouts. The Colosseum holds around 50,000 people, and it is full. Seating follows social rank, senators at the front, equestrians behind them, common citizens in the upper tiers, women and slaves at the very top. You're somewhere in the middle, which means you have a view, but you can feel 50,000 bodies packed into stone around you on a warm afternoon. The gladiators are not random criminals dragged from prison. Most are trained professionals, slaves, freedmen, and occasionally volunteers who have spent months preparing. Successful gladiators became genuine celebrities. Their names appear on graffiti across the city. Women wrote them letters. Children owned clay figurines of their favorites. One bout, a Murmillo, heavily armored with a large curved shield and short sword, against a retiarius, nearly naked, armed with a weighted net and a trident. It ends quickly. The retiarius goes down with a shoulder wound. The crowd signals. The editor of the games, whoever is sponsoring today's event, makes the call. Today, mercy. The next bout begins before the dust has settled. As the sun drops, the city shifts. If you were wealthy, you'd return to a domus, a private house built around a central courtyard, with a garden, a dining room for entertaining, and direct water access from the aqueduct. But you're not wealthy. You're heading back to that single room in the Subura. Dinner is cold, bread, olives, cheese. You have no kitchen, no stove, no open flame. Cooking fires in wooden apartment buildings are one of the primary reasons Rome burns, and Rome burns often. You eat what you can buy, already prepared, or what requires no heat at all. The taverns nearby serve hot food, but taverns have a reputation: gambling, fights, the kind of behavior that respectable Romans loudly disapprove of while quietly attending anyway, because half the city lives in an insula with no kitchen and you go where the food is. You do not go out alone at night. Rome after dark is a different city. There is no street lighting. There is no dedicated police force patrolling neighborhoods. The vigils, Rome's firefighting corps, roughly 7,000 men organized into cohorts, are out there, but their focus is fire, not crime. After dark, if you're sensible, you stay inside. The wealthy travel in litters carried by slaves, with armed escorts walking alongside. The poor take their chances. Muggings are common. Bodies appear in the Tiber regularly. The Roman jurist Ulpian, writing slightly later than our period, noted matter-of-factly that nighttime Rome presented genuine physical danger to anyone moving through it without protection. And the carts are everywhere now. The daytime ban has lifted. oxen pulling wagons loaded with grain, marble, timber, wine, iron wheels on stone, drivers shouting, animals braying. The noise that ran all night while you were trying to sleep is now joined by the noise of a city conducting its commerce in the dark, because it has no other time to do it. Juvenal said, "Rome murdered sleep." Standing here at midnight, listening to the city refuse to stop, you understand exactly what he meant. So that was 24 hours in ancient Rome. Not the monuments, the real city. A city that could move clean water across mountains via aqueducts, serving public fountains across 14 districts, while human waste got thrown from windows into the streets below. A city with the most sophisticated legal system the ancient world had produced, and landlords who built death traps 6 stories high because the men enforcing the law and the men profiting from unsafe housing were often the same men. A city of free grain and public baths and world-class entertainment, sitting alongside poverty compressed into single rooms with no light, no heat, and no recourse. Rome invented urban living at this scale. The apartment building, the shopping complex, the street food counter, the public bath as social institution, the multi-court legal hall, the professional entertainment venue seating 50,000 people. Our calendar months still carry Roman names. Legal frameworks across much of the modern world trace back to Roman codification. And Rome also invented the housing crisis, the corrupt building inspector, the noise complaint, and the landlord who builds what he wants because he knows nobody powerful enough to stop him is going to live in it. 2,000 years later, we are still living inside their blueprint, the brilliant parts and the broken parts. Thanks for watching. Creating these reconstructions takes an enormous amount of research and time. If you want to see more ancient cities brought back to life, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. What civilization should we step into next? As always, we'll see you in the past.